Hey, this is LG, and trying to share my own experiences with curing or healing my SI joint issues. So SI joint, sacroilium joint, there are two joints in the hips here that where the spine comes down and where the hips join, and they have to have a little bit of movement. Each of these joints, it's not much, it is something like 1.4 degrees, so it's really little. And but without it, if they jam or something goes wrong, you have back pain. So apparently, according to the internet, Dr. Google, about 25% of back pain is to do with the SI joint. So it's quite a big joint, and it's held together with all kinds of ligaments and blah blah blah. So inside, but it's a joint that I hurt early in my life, and I did it by falling backwards on my butt when I was rollerblading or trying to, and I did it just to make sure. I did it 3 times. So I was thoroughly jammed. I couldn't sleep properly. I was uncomfortable. I couldn't sit in a chair properly. I didn't know what to do. I ended up going to, in the end, I tried all kinds of things, the normal routes. I ended up going to an orthopedic surgeon. This was in South Africa days. And he did a whole checkup of me at the time. I haven't played any contact sports like rugby or any of those things, so my spine was intact. There was nothing else wrong. They did x-ray photos. So in the end, after this, I don't know how many hours there, he declared me injury-free, which was ironic because I couldn't sit properly. So I asked, so what about this pain then? He said, sometimes it takes a while to heal. And I thought, no, that can't be it, hey? So there must be more to it than that. So I plucked up the courage. I had a doctor friend, fortunately, who herself got in an accident, a vehicle accident, and she had whiplash in her neck. And so she had to get that sorted out. In the end, she had to go and see a chiropractor. And she recommended the guy to me. So I went there. I first had to drink a beer because I was a little bit freaked out the first time. And so I went. I thought the beer might relax me. So anyways, I went, and the guy totally straight away knew. He put his thumb right where the problem is. He had me moving in certain ways, and so then he did that the type of adjustments that they tend to do, whereby they twist the spine. So it's this kind of thing, right, where they do that, and and he managed to release it there, and it was like, oh, it was instant release. And since those days, well, I believe in chiropractors, you see. Anyways, not so long ago, I put out this joint on the right side, my SI joint out again. I jammed it. I don't know exactly what I did. I think on hindsight, it's because of a pattern, and this happens often. So my pattern was like this, and it's a pattern of imbalance. So I learned about how imbalanced we can be in our bodies doing yoga. Like the left is not the same as the right. And so it started off by me being left-handed, of course, and then often what happens is if you're left-handed, it's your right leg that's dominant. So if you do high jumping, you would be, like I did some high jumping, I would take off on my right foot, or long jumping, right? And it would be usually it's the opposite. If you're right-handed, your left leg is dominant. Anyways, if I walk in the garden, I would go down like this, tuck. And part of it was I wanted to protect my left knee, so I couldn't sit like this at the time because I had a little bit of a running injury in my left knee. So I couldn't do that. So I did this. Now, if you look at the joints there, these two SI joints, the one on this side and one on that side, is now like this all the time. And I would work like this in the garden, do all my stuff. This could be gardening. It could be you laying floor that you come down like this. This would be my normal stance. So I think because of that, I set up an imbalance. and the one side got stronger and stretched this way more than the other way. So I never balanced it out by doing this typically, right? So the one all I did was I took off my jeans like this, and as I could feel it go there, it jammed. So by now I know the first stop. Well, the first stop by now is I usually try to release it myself, but I went to the chiropractor not about 2 days later. Couldn't get the job done, and he did the first releases for me. That was great. Now, in order to maintain that so that it doesn't happen again and again and again, I've kind of developed from yoga and from experience a few moves that I do to release my back, to release tension in my back, because pretty much everything we do is in our back, right? Okay, so I'm just going to go through that quick, and then specifically what I do for the SI joint. Yeah. So first of all, the first trick I do is just legs up the wall, cut like this, and I would literally just hang out there for a while. And even there, my back did a release. So I would just hang out there for a while. I'm not going to go through the whole process. I would typically pull myself up like that and then slowly release down. Okay, I would try to get my hips open. So I would press like the one knee down and then challenge the other side, right? Or I would press this side down and change this side. And and it takes long. I mean, I'm just doing it very briefly now, but one has to take your time. You have to take a minute or so on each move. Then to try and emulate the kind of moves that they do with the chiropractic doctor would do is something that in yoga they would call twisted roots. So first of all, I just open the hip by lying the one leg's weight on the other leg over like that, and it kind of, you have to relax though. You have to take your time and let all the muscles relax, and it works better if you breathe in and then breathe out, and as with the breathing out you let it go, and you do both sides, right? Yeah. And then once I've done that, I tend to do this, and now you don't have to lock your legs in like that. Most people can't actually, especially not if we get older, but you can just do this. But the idea is to bring so you want to keep your back straight and then bring your legs over, right? And you just want to hang out there for a while. Now if you can't keep your shoulder flat on the ground, you can hold on to something, right? So you do that, and you do the other side, yeah? So that's the one thing. Now, here comes specifically the SI joint bit. This is where you want to hug a knee, one knee at a time, so the rest of the body is flat, boom. And you take some time until this knee is fully, you can get it real tight up to your chest, and like move it around a little bit, okay? So then what I do with some breathing, and there I can hear my back releasing there. So I bring it over like this. Okay, that's right there, and another little release there. Yeah, and so the same thing, bring it back up, and then just take it to the outside like that. And once again, I'm doing it a little bit fast here, but one should take your time with it. Same on this side. So, this is pulling up the knee like that is where the hips get challenged, so that they can, and that challenges those SI joints to rotate. This one up and that one stays like that, right? Stays flat. And so this is where you challenge the SI joints by hanging out here with your knee hugged to your chest, and then moving it over and doing this little trick there. Okay, and so if one wants to do a full or a better stretching. I usually do this before bedtime because it's a way to relax, and it's once I've done it, it's like, oh, I sleep so much better. It's like there's no discomfort. Like anybody who's had an SI joint issue would know that it's like, oh, you can't even necessarily, you can't sleep like this on your stomach, you can't sleep on your side, you can't, there's a lot of challenges there. So the other two hip openers that I tend to use is the one where you want to twist the leg this way, so it's kind of a rotational thing, tuck, and I do it like this. There's many ways to do it. That would be one way, or you can just put it on your knee and then pull up this knee like that, and of course you're gonna feel it here, right? And the same other side, this way or this way, as you wish, and you hang out there. I mean, you have to spend some quality time with that discomfort. So as they say in yoga, you're not supposed to pain, you're not supposed to hurt, but you should gently challenge that joint. And the more you relax, you should relax into it rather than challenge against it. Like in my young days, the good old sports way is like, just stretch, but that doesn't really work. Your body kind of counters that. It says no, a pain, and it wants to counter. So you have to convince your body, I'm relaxed, that's okay, everything is cool here, and then slowly those joints will start to release. So that's towards the inside. That now towards the outside is this thing that you, as far as you can go, right? I mean, yeah, for a lot of people that could be challenging just doing this already. But if you want to go a little bit further, you can just put some weight on there. And kids, when they're young, they can put their knees flat. They can do it on both legs at the same time. So there's no ways I can do that anymore. But I do challenge, I do this thing, and I do it this way. Okay, so that's the inside twist and the outside twist of the hip. And that would be the majority of the hips. I tend to always counter the, what do you call it, we tend to sit like this with the spine forward in chairs, and we have often a forward bend in our spine. So this way, this is a type of a yoga thing where you lion or something, I forgot what it's called, where you have to relax and let your spine hang, and then slowly come up on your elbows, but you have to relax, so your gut muscles around there have to be relaxed. If you really want to challenge it, you can do this. So not a lot of people can go there, so you don't need to. And the final thing I tend to do before I clock out is in yoga it's called a child's pose. You sit, this is Euro pose, just sitting like that. So you're sitting on your if you can, right? If you can't, you might have to put something there, like some prop. It could be that you need something there, like some prop, just so you just start off with, and it can be like a pillow or something that is smaller and smaller until you can sit flat. And you shouldn't do that if there's any pain in your knees, by the way. So no pain ever. Just gentle challenge. So if you can do this, then the child's pose is going forward and relaxing into that. So now you've got both knees effectively hugged to your chest, and you can take the arms that way. So that would be, you hang out there for a while. Yeah, and so hopefully that helps. So there's there's one more thing I do on the SI joint, is whereby this thing where I have one knee hugged and the other leg straight. If I lie on the bed and I do the same thing, I can let the straight leg go slightly down. In other words, the angle between the hugged knee and the other leg increases now, right? So I get more of a twist, that kind of motion out of my hips, right? So that's the one thing I do. The other potential to do is on the steps. If you have steps in your house, you can like take a giant step and then just become make that into a stretch. Don't slide off. If it's just wooden steps, it's maybe not so good if you're going to slide. So ours is just carpet. It's great. Yeah, and one will feel if you want to strengthen now. Apart from, so the stretching is the first part. You also need to strengthen these the muscles around the whole movement. So what do you call it? Lunges are very good for that, but you need to be careful. So in the beginning, you might not want to go down too much, right? Left leg, right leg, and then if you start to feel comfortable, you can go down on your knee. Now this angle here, you shouldn't go over your knee like this. This angle there should be 90 degrees, right? And then this one, right, like that. And you can do that. The muscles in your butt and where else works quite well like this. It's like a game of squash where you have to reach, or tennis, right? Now if you have an SI joint issue, you're not going to be able to do that. You'll first have to release it and get it gently up to snuff before you can do that. And the other thing is that I found while my SI joint was still not fully mobile, I struggled to even walk the steps one by one, let alone two by two. But this is also a test. You keep on challenging it, okay? Do lots of steps, especially going upwards, and then okay, take 2 steps at a time. I mean, don't fall, have the railing there, but that's how it's a good challenge, and you can also, it's a good test to see if that joint is working properly. Okay, hope that helps. I'll see how this works out.